smoke with us.
Yeah, we got so high and then we hid from my parents because we were so fucking stoned and we didn't want to get busted, you know. And yeah, those were the memories, you know, of like first smoking weed and then, you know, junior high school, you know, I was smoking good weed.
What was that first batch like that you guys did
some Humboldt weed, you know. The first batch
still pretty good though.
Yeah,
back
like
down in the 80s, I mean.
Like in the 80s, there would be some Humboldt weed, and then there'd be some stress weed, you know, that we got from like Pico and Hoover, Fedora, you know. Like I know all those spots, bro. I don't know if they're still kicking right now.
Nah,
but like we ripped off those dudes that were selling weed on the street too. Gave them like, you know, like a 5 with a bunch of singles, and they said it was like $20. And it wasn't $20, and then bumped out. And they had like bottles thrown at us and shit. The dudes were picking up pieces of grass, and like underneath the grass were like the bags of weed that they were stashing because it was like straight street hustler.
NFL on EA Sports brings us to the banks of the Ohio River at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The enthusiasm of this Cincinnati crowd in full effect a moment ago as their Bengals took the field to the delight of this sold-out crowd. And they're all set as they'll match up with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Greg Zuerlein now. He'll handle the honors to get us started. And we are underway from Cincinnati. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line.
He said he used to come right up here through the Hollywood by the reservoir, by the Hollywood Lake, and come smoke joints up here because of the view and because you get a little bit of alone time, some reflection.
That's what we did. We used, you know, as kids, we used to ride our bikes up into our BMX bikes up into the hill. This was a female bike, or you would have a 10-speed, you know, but you didn't make it.
What?
The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so. And now the timeout called by the Cowboys defense. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter.
It's great smoke spot. Great smoke. It's off of Coldwater Canyon in Mulholland. You know,
OG game right here.
Good gain on first. Has him set up with second and just a couple of inches now from the 29.
They were shortcuts for us also back in the day to get around traffic.
Man open, that's Jamar Chase complete. That's probably as simple of a throw as he'll have all game.
And good for everyone. Good for his completion percentage. Good for the receptions for the receivers. But you know how they work on that. They have footballs with no laces. So as soon as you get the snap, you're just throwing the football. All right? You're not trying to find the laces and grip it a certain way. That takes time. Just get the ball and throw it. So that's how they practice it all the time now, too.
And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
Burrow going to fake to mix it and now look to throw. Open man is Uzomah. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
What's not cool about the gain there on second down, that was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now gives a much better opportunity to convert on third down.
Because if you talk pre-COVID, 2015, 2016, if you're in Hollywood, you're still seeing celebrities, you're still seeing actors, so like you're still seeing people out and about. Now, you know,
from midfield now, Burrow.
Away, right?
Over the middle, that's caught by Chase. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. 2 yards is all he'll get on the completion. It's fourth down.
16 years old, you got yourself a car, you go cruising Hollywood Boulevard, you cruise Sunset Boulevard. You know, now you don't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
that is wild. Yeah. It's definitely a little bit different. What was it like transition when you're first on smoke and then getting into high school and shit. How did things change up? You know, you start coming.
They'll try and throw for it with Burrow.
I was selling weed in the parking lot, bro.
That is caught. It's Uzoma. It is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30.
Excellent catch.
Both sides were holding their breath there on that fourth down play, and the offense can breathe a sigh of relief.
And both knew exactly where the first down markers were. You know the defense is trying to guard those sticks and try and keep people in front, but somehow, some way, those guys found a way to pick it up.
Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter.
So, it was a mission for me to graduate.
Mixon with a first down carry. And only a yard this time as he's taken down right around the 26.
So, yeah, weed has been like...
And this is why aggressive defense coordinators love the blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Weed and riding my bicycle, my mountain bike, I probably would have went to UCLA and played soccer for UCLA and continued on professionally. I like riding my mountain bike. I didn't want to be one of those kids in school.
Back to Mixon on second down. Trucks over it. And taking
good
it
shit.
to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script, you go through your play calling, you go through all the stuff and establish things. And it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
Good shit.
He's got it for a big touchdown. C.J. Uzoma there to make the grab. And the Bengals take it right down and score on the opening drive.
Hispanic dudes on the team. And I played with like 4 of the Hispanic guys for like 5 years.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game.
So I just jumped on.
So after the main field goal, here's McPherson to send this one away.
You know, 2003, made the jump to Amsterdam.
Pollard elects to keep it. This will come out to the 25-yard line.
In Los Angeles, that's how I met my business partner.
So you were right out of high school, had just graduated, and then moved to Amsterdam? No. So there's a little period. So coming out of high school, what was it like being, you know, in the 90s and shit in LA? Like, no shops, no nothing, you know what I mean?
No shops, you have, you know someone who's growing, or you're growing.
Are you getting strain names yet? Or are you hearing, like, Super Silver Haze, or...
No, I mean, you might be Skunk.
Okay.
Skunk,
I miss that.
Lights.
Man, I miss it. Damn.
Some Beasters.
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Now the first carry for an Ohio native. It's Ezekiel Elliott. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. What I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while, get at least 2 first downs, give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
What was one of your first spots like, growing and stuff?
First spot was, let's see, like 90.
The previous run, good for 9. Here's 2nd and a yard. Again to Elliott.
Good tackle.
But he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and now they're faced with a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, basements, you know, garages.
Put a light up.
Yeah, so you lights up as your map.
Okay.
You know, tap the power. You know, like you know, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You know, but you would grow whatever seeds.
So you were going from seeds.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1.
And it was out and seed. And like one of my favorite songs.
They try and run for it with Elliott. They had some room to work.
He's not alive anymore. He created this thing called the
Good shit.
Ezekiel Elliott, a guy who considers himself underrated, has told his detractors to put some respect on his name. Hard not to respect a run like that.
And that's why he's one of the best running backs in the game today, because this run combined all the elements. Started with patience, and he was just waiting for the right lane to materialize. Then once he saw it, he used his speed and escapability in tandem and turned this into a tremendous play.
Zerline connects on the extra point, and that will tie our score here in this opening quarter of play.
Going off in seeds in those days, like where you seeing like a bunch of different batches of just like everybody's
seed was different.
Yeah,
it wasn't like the same.
Not like today where it's kind of every plant is different. He would plant 6 seeds. Yeah, and you got 6 different phenotypes and strains.
Because this is.
Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kicks away.
And you got to buy the good shit with the not so good shit.
Yeah, that'll be a little too hot to handle as it will skip through the end zone for a touchback here.
If you find an accidental seed, the chances of them finding an accidental seed from your bag are pretty high.
The Cincy offense about ready to go here on their next drive. Good drive last time. Really effective passing the football. Do you maybe mix it up, now go to the ground game and surprise the defense a little bit?
I would anticipate the defense making some changes, but I wouldn't necessarily just absolutely go in the opposite direction. They're doing so well throwing the ball.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't change it up until they showed me a reason to do so.
Like a S1, F1, possibly, you know.
Yeah.
S1, like, so, you know, some people like F1s. Like, personally, I like F1 seats.
Describe to the people at home, what's an S1 and an F1?
Well, S1 is like a self. You're selfing, like, so you take OG Kush, your favorite.
So, now, 1st and 10.
Let's call it OG. And you spray it with feminizing solution. And then you hit that plant will turn into like a male and produce pollen.
Now
and
Joe Mixon.
That pollen and put it onto that same plant.
And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 47 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point. What makes a draw play like that successful?
Well, we did see when we made the first wave miss, and that was a big part of it. But a lot of it is just being actors back there, making the defense think it's going to be a pass.
And they go play action now. Burrow.
Yeah, you could do that.
This goes out wide from Mixon. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. But he's already proven to be a factor in the running game on this drive. Now he gets involved in the passing game.
I think what we're seeing here is the modern version of workhorse in the NFL. Being able to run it and catch it with equal proficiency.
You know, not related at all. You know, so across OG.
On 2nd down, here's Mixon. Mixon hit it. All the ball is out.
Wow. Good shit.
It's not free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base, he's scoring positions. One guy doesn't get him home, the next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover.
The TK, right? Supposedly the triangle push is the first OG, and that some seeds of that made it their way to Florida or some facts.
Burrow on play action. Throw left side complete. That's Boyd. And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, sometimes asking for trouble, you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down, executed it to perfection.
There's one that's more calyxy and plainy, and then there's one that's more rounded, you know, and I like the plainy calyxy lighter green one. They're both that one known as.
That catch good for only a couple.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
You know, it was just phenotype, you know, like darker, a little bit darker.
What the fuck? Good looking out.
All knotted up at 7.
You know, when you got a good bag of weed back in the day, it was a good bag of weed.
Yeah.
And you could charge, and there's dudes that like were charging $10,000 a fucking clone for OG.
I bet. If you can get it. Was it really like that before that? Because you were talking like Northern Lights and some of the Dutch Strings, the early stuff.
We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. On third down, Burrow. And this is going to be incomplete.
You tell they wanted to get that ball downfield. They had nothing working in the secondary, so he dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
So on fourth down, off goes Burrow. On comes Evan McPherson for the Bengal field goal. From the left hash, this will be a 41-yarder. McPherson's kick is good. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. So a good kick there, and they put the bow tie on it with 3 points.
And let's face it, everybody wants a touchdown. We know that. But in the NFL, defenses are awfully good. You're not going to score each and every time. Be able to knock the ball through the post and take it through.
By the way, I said bow tie. I meant just bow. Even not the tie, but yeah.
You got it. I just went right past it.
Yes, it was always OG. Now you know. Struggle to sell OG.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3.
It's got to be exotic.
They'll try the right side with Elliott.
The market's asking.
And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 96 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here in this first half.
I'm not saying there's no one's down. It's just tightly. OG's still going.
And I agree with most part because like you're talking like
he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40.
Partner, if you want more carries, I think we saw how you get him. Show that he's got the fresh legs, and he picked up the first down on that run.
Yeah.
Don't just ask for him. Show him that you're supposed to get the football.
Late 90s, it was skunks. And not. You were lucky when you found that the skunk, the dank skunk.
First down, and it's Pollard again. And some good tackling there as he stopped up at about the 41. Trey Hendrickson, the one who gets him on the ground.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. They'll try to throw now. Prescott.
Good D.
Nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now he brings up 3rd down.
In episodes out in story about it.
If they want it first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on 3rd down. Throwing. Prescott.
But yeah, so like.
Ooh, good D, good D.
It's intercepted. Picked off around the 27, and he's able to get it back here.
Good shit.
That throw, Charles, over the middle of the field, and a few too many bodies in there got hit.
That's a normal situation, too, isn't it? No matter how hard you try and spread the field sometimes, there's always going to be a traffic jam, it feels like, towards the middle. And if there's any type of a missed throw, or maybe the ball's tipped,
Need my ball
just
back.
Too many bodies in the area, an interception can result.
Right? And bread and broth.
First down, here's Burrow.
Like shit that.
Good throw.
Took a shot, couldn't connect.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
They like they want stuff that they can shake over their fucking key screen.
2nd and 10.
Tricep.
So once you get out there and you bring all those strains and they're just like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah, like, like
What the
Burrow
people
looking to pass.
Come on, you got to catch that.
They have to like what they've done defensively here at the outset of this drive. They forced a couple of incomplete passes, bring up a 3rd and 10. Don't be surprised to bring a little pressure on this snap.
It's more like, trying to get the dudes to pay the price. right? Like, I'm not going to sell you this bucket ball mess.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions.
When they try to pay you on flower time. Right? So your best weed that finishes in 8 weeks, they give you the least amount of money.
Now it's Burrow.
But if it takes 16 weeks, they'll pay you more.
And that is it.
Certainly no lack of aggressiveness here. They were hoping for the home run play to get them 6 points. They're hoping for a catch, maybe a call, but they figure they can at least get into field goal range with a completion.
So on 4th down, on comes the left-footed punter, Kevin Huber, to punt it away. C.D. Lamb deep for the Cowboys.
And what makes them the money, right?
And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line.
Coffee shop. Then we started selling to the coffee shop directly, right? And you make a little bit more money. So we were, on that time, New York City diesel, which is like grapefruity, you know, really pungent smell, really pungent, like,
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And with 10 seconds left, not really enough time to put something together.
Damn.
Looking for Lamb, but it's intercepted. with a pick.
Oh, fat boy. Good shit. My passing game terrible right now. It's cool. We can still come back.
McPherson now for the extra point. It's good to make it.
Get the ball at half. We'll come back, baby.
First half in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
These two teams making their final adjustments for the second half. And to bring it your way, we go back up to Cincinnati and Brandon Guy.
6 varieties of the finest fucking cannabis that these dudes see. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you, 4,000 a kilo. 2,000 pounds, right? Just upstairs in your coffee shop and looked at your menu and looked at everything that was in your
And we welcome you back now alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gordon getting set for quarter number 3 here.
There's like cantaloupe, shark's breath, chocolate.
It's the Cowboys who get the football first, and they trail here as well as we resume action in the third quarter. This one will come out to the 25 as Pollard is going to elect not to return it.
And we were like, they walk out of the room, and then we see a cannabis cup sitting on the wall, right on their little thing. I'm like, take a picture of us with their cannabis cup. We have a picture. It goes back before there was a DNA. And we held up the cannabis cup, we took a picture, we flossed with them.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And right out of the gate, they face what you think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. They're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start calling back, they've got to start putting more pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
107 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
So there was like 60,000 seeds that we produced, and they went out with every single order that Gypsy Nirvana sold. So everybody got these Who's Your Daddy seeds, right? And that's when we had to come up with a name.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
We're sitting there with
Pollard going to try the right side. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. Despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game. And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. Now Prescott. Swinging this out for 3. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36.
One of my old teammates called me the other day when he was watching the game. He's like, man, trying to watch an NFL game and trying to account for their passing game, that's difficult. And just when you think you got everything covered, here comes a back out of the backfield. In this case, he picks up the first down.
He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24.
2nd and 1 is often an invitation to take the big shot downfield. I bet the offensive lineman said, are you kidding? We just get on our backs and let's go get the first down. They love being physical.
I have, but most people have it. It's in Switzerland.
Prescott looks to throw on first. He finds his target. It's Schultz. And
Good hit.
15 shy of the 10.
I tell you what, it looks like he's shaking off that pick 6 just fine. It's not just defensive backs that have to have short memories. Quarterbacks utilize that as well. A much more confident throw right there.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. 10th carry now for Elliott. And he'll take it into the end zone.
Good shit, good shit.
Cowboy touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Cowboys draw a bit closer. Nice execution there. Good job by the O-line getting him in for the 2nd time.
And you always have to start with credit there when you're having a big game. I mean, you don't get there by yourself. That's rare. But how about the ability to see the proper holes, pick the proper place to go, and find his way into the end zone.
Prescott, they're going to throw for it. That's caught at the 1. And he'll get into the end zone as the 2-point conversion is successful.
It'd be great to start some of these old righties, like real skunk, his cheats.
Now after the touchdown, it's Zerline. He'll kick it away.
Real cheese from Europe? No. Real cheese from Europe is I went to Amsterdam.
Brandon Wilson to return it. And he won't quite make it to the 25.
Favorite fresh strains that I had out there. That's boom. That's that shit was
right before they bred out that dink.
I had it in about 2003-04, growing it in Florida, and we had grown super skunk.
The Bengals drive about to get going. And maybe some renewed pressure on this unit following the touchdown a moment ago. It's back to a 1-score game.
And because of that pressure, because it's now a 1-score game, they know this is where you need to slow the momentum change. Because otherwise, that could overrun your team. You got to be careful right here.
69 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far.
Sometimes those lines that are drawn on a grease board or in a playbook, they come to life out on the field, don't they? And we just saw down that outside handoff to the right.
That right tackle, he gets excited for that call, doesn't he?
He does.
And he's got it. What a catch on the sideline. A big play that time through the air. 33 yards. The previous play big on the ground. That one big through the air. Things have jumped up quickly.
It certainly appears that whatever their thought process is on the defensive side of the ball, they're one play behind. You know, loaded up for the pass, they hit them with the run. Load up for the run, they hit them with the pass. They've got to get in sync.
First it was Neville, right? Doing the seat right?
So a big play as it gets them all the way down to the 20 now for 1st and 10. Burrow going to give this to Mixon. And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those 3 guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big people. Because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5 on 3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
Right? finish flowering everything else, and you grow and you say, yeah, I have some hands.
Off the play fake, here's Burrow.
That, you know.
And that one not to be. It's incomplete. So they couldn't hook up as time has now run out on this third quarter of play. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his third down play as we played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports.
Right? A haze from those guys. And the shooting throw, it was like calyx.
Eagles on third down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 9.
Calyx is like a hash brown almost.
Here's Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say hash brown, you know. Hash 2, hash 3.
What is y'all doing?
All the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds.
Good shit.
And that pickup of a first down, that's going to leave a mark because they really needed to stop them there, didn't they?
So frustrating defensively. You're a play away from getting that football back here down late. Tough.
Now they got to find a way to create a turnover or takeaway. Otherwise, this one will probably get away from them.
360 crystals.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like little teardrops.
Mixon is in. Touchdown Bengals. The first drive ended in 3. This time they take it down and punch it in the end zone.
So that first drive felt like they were just gathering knowledge, didn't it? Just enough to kick the field goal on the first one. And the second time they put it all together and got it all the way to the end zone.
Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that makes this a 9-point game.
It's more like those turkeys are what drive everything about cannabis. THC.
After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away.
It doesn't taste like shit.
Now it's Wilson. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line.
So then you have to sell it like you have. That's like me. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. It's got to smell. It's got to taste. You know, it's got to have that note. It's got to have, there's some wow factor to it.
The taste is just crucial.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, where they trail by 2 scores here in the 4th quarter, this drive becomes very critical. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line.
This possession means so much for them. They've got to focus on this drive and find a way to make this a one-possession game. Got to get a score.
Yeah, so good with a field goal, don't necessarily need a touchdown. To throw again on 2nd down. Prescott. On the throw, let him too much.
That was a good D right there.
I'm not quite sure how to judge that one. Maybe didn't have enough legs underneath him. Mechanics might have been off. Maybe some fatigue. That one came up short.
And you do start to watch as the arm there, the leg's still there. This has been a tough game. On 3rd down. Trying to work his way forward.
You needed that.
Did not make it. They were ahead of schedule after the gain of 7 on 1st down, but the defense does not budge on 2nd and 3rd. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Desperation time. Prescott on 4th.
Ooh, blew it.
And they turn it over. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Bengals are going to get it back in terrific field position.
I never wanted just a pretty plan. Never wanted a pretty plan. I wanted something that's ahead of me. Wow.
That's why you're smoking it. Wow. No, when it's smelling it. Wow.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
That's the true test.
Wow factor. And then if it transfers over.
Play action. It's Burrow.
You're smoking it. It's still wow.
He'll find his running back, Joe Mixon. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this league, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Hell yeah, I couldn't get that. And so, it yields 4 pounds of life.
It looks pretty.
And it looks pretty, right? But there's no, wow.
On second down.
Good shit.
And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line.
No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18.
That shouldn't get you busted.
Now Mixon.
Shit you not, bro. You smoke that?
Oh, he bolts over it. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. Tackle there by Leighton Vander Esch. Able to stay in bounds, and the clock keeps rolling. This defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in. And all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is, first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
Right? And then
2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports.
And then it loses that undesirable trait. And then it's just, wow. You know? Wow when it's on the line. Wow when it's in the fucking joint. Wow when it's in the long. Wow when it's in a concentrate. You know?
That has to be. And you're speaking on something that people, I think these days, are losing sight of. And you're talking terpenes, and you're talking how...
So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And you have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. On second down now, Mixon. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be 3rd down.
So where'd all that running room that he had in the first half go? Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit here. Someone made some adjustments, it appears, at least on this drive.
Late 90s, when you could grow massive amounts of cannabis, and then it sell small sacks. Right? Like,
here we go with Burrow.
Good shit. Wide open.
And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage.
And in a lot of ways, that catch is expected. Red zone presence, and that one was realized there. You've got to find your tight end in that situation.
Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on 1st and goal.
You could just package that shit up in the early 90s. Can you imagine in the 90s? And we sell it.
And he is here.
Good shit, good shit, good job.
Joe Burrow. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run.
And either you open the pillowcase.
Good shit, good shit.
You know, that's how it ran. That's how it ran in Switzerland. You know?
Did you ever see that purple Tangy Fino that was going around?
Oh, yeah. Plenty.
Man, that thing is banging. I'm going to be honest. I fell in love with that when I first saw it, and I was after it forever, and I never got a hold of it, but all perked out and just smells straight like Tangy.
People,
absolutely beautiful.
There's a few guys out there based their whole company around that purple Tangy cut.
I know.
From seed.
I think they used to call it Purple Tangy was the name of the company too.
Yeah. You know, I'm friends with those guys, I know.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool to see other people, you know, something you know, like something that you co-created.
Spawned a whole company.
You know, when Crockett gave us the Tangy cut, you know, we used it in all sorts of everything, you know. Tangy, sometimes it would turn purple, you know. That was a special time, you know. It was a special time where it was like orange. The orange came back.
Yeah.
You know.
Living in Amsterdam, and you're over there, and you guys start to win cups. How crazy does it get? I mean, you guys started just cleaning house. I looked at the thing; it was insane.
The interesting you want to like. Growing up reading High Times magazine and winning your first medal was a huge accomplishment, you know. First time ever entering any kind of cannabis cup. It's a huge accomplishment. We love cannabis. But entering into a Dutch cup that had nothing to do with High Times, where there was no Because when we came into the Cannabis Cup, the coffee shop cup was always won by the same two. Or same two, maybe a different shop, but it was owned by one of the two. You know, the shit was rigged. The shit was who bought the most judges' passes. With our cups, it was with breeders, seed cups, it was a little different. And different judges. The High Life Cup was the first Dutch Cup we entered.
High Life.
Yeah, and we might have pissed off a lot of people that day. Because there was a lot of people thinking they were winning. And we were watching them. We were just this American dudes who smoked weed, dumb American dudes who smoked weed and grew weed. And we fucking cleaned house our first High Life Cup. And Luke from Paradise Seeds was like in shock.
Do you remember what strain won?
It was lemon skunk.
Yeah. Famous strain.
Lemon skunk. I think it was lemon skunk that won that one. You know, we created another monster with that because we brought Chucky on board. We're like, yeah, this is who we got the cut from. This is the Lemon Man. You know, and he became the Lemon Man forever. You know, and like Crockett became Hangy Man. You know, and we helped create Crockett Family Farms. You know, and I love Crockett Family. That's the family.
And you guys are infamous for Kosher Kush.
Yeah, kosher.
I mean, that rocked the world, that strain.
A great OG, right? And for Halloween, I mean, like, the whole story behind kosher is because, like, the cut was originally called Jugal. We hated the name, you know?
Yeah.
And when we got the cut, we're like, we're going to change the name, you know? We're going to make seeds, and we're going to change the name. And before we changed the name, my business partner, Don, had a Halloween party at our house in Sherman Oaks. And there was a chick that showed up dressed as a rabbi. And she was really a rabbi, but she was dressed as a rabbi. And he goes, oh, I got some weed for you to bless. She goes, really? And he goes, yeah. And that's how we got Kosher Kush.
Dang.
She blessed that cut.
That's killer.
And we had Kosher Kush. And then we made seeds of it. We won cannabis tests with it. I mean, and if you do a DNA test on it, it traces back to OG. Traces back to everybody. Everybody's OG. Traces back to these. If you call the TK and the Josh OD the very first, then it traces back into there.
Are those seeds still available today for people?
Yeah, we still sell Kosher Kush.
Think about that. So many people are looking for OG Kush. I get that in my DM once a week. Do you know where I can get OG Kush seeds? Because it's coming back from DNA Genetics. The originators, they get something that's not been 3, 4, 5, 10 times bred out. One of the original things. Get a DNA Genetics Kosher Kush, find those phenos. I mean,
just love what you do. Spend time with your plants. You know, if you're into growing, spend time with your plants. I mean, there's a reason why not everybody grows weed. Huge reason why. Same reason why everybody doesn't grow tomatoes. You got to be there for your plants. You got to be a slave to those plants. That's got to be your life. You know? And it's not for everybody. You know, I remember way back when I never take a vacation. Living in Amsterdam, take a vacation, leave your mother room and your flower room, and expect someone else to water it properly, be there on time to water it, you know, not the last second, and then overwater it so everything's just sitting in water, you know? I mean,
lose all your work.
Yeah, love your plant. I mean, we did it one time when we lost some homes.
Stuff that you had bred, stuff that you'd never be able to get back.
You know, I mean, it happens, you know, and you have to kill. You have to learn how to kill. You can't keep moms alive. I mean, you can, but it's at a certain point, you got to learn where it's got to make some space.
That's a hard lesson for a lot of growers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like that's more in the higher up. Once you get like what you're giving a lesson to people, that's deep, man. You got to learn how to kill.
Well, yeah, you go to people's facilities, they got 100 strains, but they're not even growing 100 strains. You don't need 100 strains in your facility.
Just preserve the genetics and back them up, or what?
You could keep a small little library, but like maybe you should preserve them in the tissue culture. Then you don't have them. I mean, you still would probably want to keep them on, but you just want to copy over and over as soon as you can. You know, don't grow it too huge. There's no reason.
I know some breeders today will S1 or their seeds of certain things before they kill something off, just to hopefully have something similar to it one day to go back.
Yeah, I mean, some seeds are like that. You know, I have some of the seeds of original chocolate seeds, original LA Confidential seeds, original everything from like the first batches that went out.
Could you tell us one or two things that you're like super proud you have locked away that's, you know?
I mean, chocolate always has a place in my heart. I gotta say, like, that sativa is tasty to the fucking paper, to the roach, you know, like great on vine smell, great room smell, just like great high, you know, really a sativa, you know. I love that plant, you know, that plant is special. We have it, the original clone backed up in tissue culture. You know, it's got, you know, variegation. It's not pretty, you know. It doesn't start off so pretty. It's got some curling, but it isn't hop latent. So we have it in tissue culture, and hopefully we get it out of tissue culture and it does something worthy, you know. But I mean, like, I like to grow all our original stuff and get away from this hype purple shit. I mean, we have hype purple shit too, but you know, and it's good.
You gotta have both or all of it.
It would be great to have some fucking OG in the mix, you know, some dank.
100%.
You know, what do you guys smoke? What do you?
I smoke a lot of Skittles. I like this Sure Banger that Pack Out smokes.
I mean, you know, I think it all has to just kind of do with what you come up smoking and loving and enjoying and what you saw the most fire of. You know, I miss some old stuff that I feel like was more homegrown style, like fire, you know, fresh, sticky fire, you know. And it's different now for sure, you know, it's batch to batch, and you know, it's more about the batch than the strain, in my opinion. And like,
you know why?
Yeah, I know I don't.
Because back in the day, when you grew in that small space, you were growing mostly for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And you trimmed it yourself. You didn't have nobody around. You were a hermit. You were a slave to your work. You did everything yourself. And those batches came out. They showed it. And then you get a little bit bigger. Then you have to bring on trimmers. And the trimmers molest your weed. And I say molest, their hands are all over it, bro. And next thing you know, your trimmer's got the most finger fucking hash. I remember going to trims and seeing trimmers, and they got a pile of finger hash. I said, what the fuck is that? They're like, finger hash. I was like, you shouldn't be trimming weed.
No.
You shouldn't be trimming weed with a pile of finger hash like that.
They don't care about it like you care about it.
You know?
It's different to them.
You should barely touch that shit. You should hold it by the stem. Fingers shouldn't have hash on them. Like, we love weed. I think just loving weed. Love your weed. You know? If you grow it at home, don't tell anybody.
Rule number 1.
You know? Don't complain about the rules and regulations. Just don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Because we all grew up with rules and regulations, and you couldn't have to tell anybody. Then you came out with, if you want to do it, you have to be a medical patient. Then you have to come out with, you have to business license, cultivation license. I know people who are more successful now, not saying shit, and not having a fucking license. You know? And then I know people who have a license who still got to sell their weed on the black market. Because you can't sell all the weed on the fucking legal market in California. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's too much weed.
And even now, the black market still trumps on quality. You know, and that has to do a lot with the regulation and stuff. But I do see where it did change, where people were chasing a lot of just colorful stuff, and it has to hit all the marks. I mean, that's the big thing about a grower. Just like you say, we go after flavor. Like, if it's going to look purple, it better taste purple, like Purple Urkel, Granddaddy Purple.
So yeah, some of those things, you wouldn't want to grow Purple Urkel. You wouldn't want to grow the Purple Kush, because they're slower than the Skittles.
Super slow veg time,
Shout
slow.
out to the whole Skittles crew.
Yep.
All of them that, you know, the Skittles crew, the other crew that was involved at the beginning, all of them, you know. Where'd it come from? I don't know. We don't know. You know?
I think it was a vaccine.
And there's a few different stories. You know, like, I don't know.
Well, what I see now, and where do you see it going now? Because we're seeing like a lot of potency with the terps. Now we just went through the phase where it was a lot of like purple and colors and stuff, and then it was like terps, and now it's potency. I feel like now people want everything together. They want the 31% with the crazy terpenes, with the, you know.
Which you're not going to
get.
Probably not going to get. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they want it to wash 6%, you know, like, yeah. 31%, again, like, some of it, you know, you got to give the people what they want. Personally, it might not be your super cup of tea, right? You got stuff that, we have DNA cake, you know, sorbet, lava cake, and that shit's bomb. It's purple, it's super frosty, it looks beautiful on the vine. Take great pictures of it. Yields great. You know, bats. But if you're asking me what's my favorite weed, or if I'm smoking it every single day, I'll tell you that. You know? But if somebody else who's not me, who's in a different percentile, loves that purple shiny shit. You know? They might call it shit. I'm just saying shiny shit.
The opposite of
They want purple, but I don't get it because they don't look at it for very too long. You know, they smash it up or don't smash it up and throw it into whatever, a joint or a blunt, or they're not smoking bong, you know, really bong hits of it.
It's all how they came up. You know? They came up that was the hype, so they think the epitome of good weed is that.
I didn't grow up in the blunt era.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I seen the way they roll blunts. They just throw nugs on that fucking thing. They're not even going to crush it up. Just fucking line it with nugs. That's fucking awesome. You can't do that in a paper. You know? This shit look retarded. It's blunt, I guess it's all good. It's proper not to look good in the blunt.
I find a lot of the OG guys, like the guys that really have smoke OG. Like, that's like when we linked with Kenji, he's smoking OG. When we linked with, you know, it's like a lot of these older cats that we link with, it's like, what are you smoking on? They're like, well, we do everything. We work on this, we do this, but what are you smoking? It's some version of an OG.
What about Kenji? That's my brother from another mother.
We just had him on, and he was the last episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What episode are we on again?
42.
42. He's 41.
Yep. Shout out to Kenji, man.
Shout out to my brother Kenji.
Whole Cypress Hill gang, for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's part of that OG crew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kenji's my brother from another mother. I can't say anything bad about Kenji. You know, or that crew.
Awesome. Preserving genetics, too. A lot of them champion OG. It's good to see guys like that because that's going to help the younger guys realize maybe I should throw some OGs in this purple mix.
Yeah.
And then start to smoke it. Because it takes change. It takes you like growing, being like, damn, this thing is hard to grow and way harder than this other thing.
Did he ever tell you a story about Bubba?
A little bit. I'd love to hear it from you, though.
Someone gave him some Bubba Kush, the dude called Bubba Kush out there, Matt Berger. gave him the seeds. He started those seeds.
Yeah, that's what he basically
We giggled every time we heard pre-98.
Yeah,
Because there was no pre-98 to do with Bubba Kush at the very beginning, you know?
That is interesting.
And
you saw that a lot, too.
yeah, and then around the same around the same time, there was Affy going around to LA. It wasn't called LA Confidential back then. It was called Affy. And it was going around like the Moon Tribe. There's like a rave crew, a Moon Tribe, hippie kind of DJ dudes that was going around. And they were growing Affy. And these guys were growing Bubba, you know? And they're very similar. They could be sisters. We don't know. But their seeds obviously weren't from the same place, you know? And Kenji's the one that came out with Bubba, you know? And everything Bubba related was thanks from Matt Berger, gave Kenji those seeds, and Kenji that selected the one that was Bubba Kush. And then when you hear, oh, this is pre-98, what was the crossbow? No, it's just pre-98. Like,
no such thing.
Yeah.
that shit was pre-98, but it was never called pre-98.
And it looks different than the one today. I tried to grow some of it, and I'm looking for this, like, exploded little nut in between these
small,
big...
short.
None of that.
Doesn't yield for shit.
Some people, it's lost. Some of the stuff is lost, or some people have it in seeds. We got to try to... Yeah. Something that I have of yours hidden away that I'm, like, super proud of is a pack from about... I mean, it's got to be 8 to 10 years old. Great White Shark. But it was a cross you did. It was... I have a couple Shark's Breath, and I have the original pack that I kept saying I'm looking for the Great White Shark. I'm looking for those phenos, the White Russian, the Shark's Breath. I would think that would do well right now if I could bring you that Cloroxy, mothball-y kind of. It's very different turf. And
totally different turf.
Very different.
We did crosses of that, I remember, and us giving them away when you came into our shop and bought like a couple packs of seeds, or if we liked you. You know, I mean, you're cool, you know. There's cool dudes that we met from coming into our shop to buy seeds that turned out to be great friends that, you know, were part of the team, you know. I mean, it was a hub for people to come in.
Take it back to Amsterdam in the mid-2000s and stuff. What was it like back then? You know, obviously a lot of people coming over there trying weed for the first time, or just non-smokers smoking, you know what I mean, just because they're there.
Well, how about 2005, 2006 is when we opened up like DNA Genetics proper and had we got the keys to our first seed shop. We just won the Cannabis Cup from Marshman Green and second place with LA Confidential. Then we got the keys to our shop. And we were smoking LA Con every day. Because that's our shit, right? Dank, Afghani, like, punching. Knock people down. Got the keys to our shop. We celebrated. They were still the guy who had our shop before us still had some stuff in there. And he was moving across the street to a smaller location. We started off in the same shop. We're still in the same shop to this day.
Wow.
We smoked a joint in there. We got raided. We got raided by the police because they thought we had a cultivation in a hemp plantage, is what they called it, inside the shop from one joint of LA Confidential. And like literally the first day we got the fucking keys, we showed up. We got the keys from Vince, long live Vince. He handed us the keys. We're in there, we're looking, we're like, oh, we want to do this, we got to take out all this shit, you know? We're looking at it, it's a blank slate for us, you know, and we're celebrating, and Vince calls us that, he's like, hey, the cops are breaking into your shop. We're like, for what? He goes, they think there's a hemp plantage in there. We're like, tell them there isn't, we smoked a fucking joint. Is it illegal to smoke a joint? He's like, no. He goes, they think there's a hemp plantage, they don't care about you guys. They're coming in there. They're breaking in, right? And it's not the police. It's a company called Seon, who does the dirty work of breaking into your house, right?
Wow. What?
For the police. So it shields the police from liability, right? So, like, Seon breaks in. They break in. They break in through our door. They break in through our roll-up. They fucking walk in there. They fucking don't see shit. There's nothing. Don't even see a roach. You know? Leave us a fucking thing that says we broke into your shop. Come pick up your keys, you know, at the fucking police station. Because they rekeyed our fucking shop. Right? Well, before they rekeyed our shop, we already called the locksmith. Come change our locks, you know? Do all that. Because we know people already. People are helping us, you know?
That's huge.
We're like, you don't go into Amsterdam on a bike saying you know people. You don't. Back in the day, there's, you know, you don't do wrong, the Hells Angels are there. Dutch Mafia is there. Like, we were the good kids, though. So we were known as we were the guys. We played it by the books. We got to visit by them. And they fucking rolled our shop, and they didn't find shit. And they said, go pick up the keys at the police station. So my ass has to ride my bike down to the police station to go pick up the fucking keys. And I'm like, oh, you need to come in here. It's like, okay. And he buzz you in, and you go to the fucking captain's office down the hall. And I'm like, how you doing? He's good. You speak Dutch? I go, nope. Speak English. Like, you guys broke into our shop the other night, wondering why you broke into our shop. Was there something we did? We just got the keys that night. He goes, someone said there was a hemp plantage in there. One of your neighbors said there was a hemp plantage in there. I was like, a hemp plantage? Like a weed grow? He's like, yeah. And there was nothing in there. I go, we smoked a joint as a celebration for us getting the keys to the shop, because it sucked for you that you smoked that joint. Because we got the call, and we opened the mail flap, and we could smell the weed.
Open the mail flap.
They could smell the weed. Roll down, they smell the weed. And we rolled in there thinking there's a hemp plant. So I was like, I just can't tell the difference between smoked weed and weed that's growing. I was like, you guys need to fucking learn. You know? I go, I'm here for you. I'll teach you. You know, like, we're going to be there forever. And we're going to continue smoking weed in our shop. Is it illegal for me to smoke weed in my shop? He goes, nope. He goes, it just sucked for you this one time. I go, so I can continue? He goes, yeah. He goes, you're not a coffee shop? I go, no, I'm not selling anything. I sell seeds. He goes, oh, you're all good. And from that day forward, they walk, it's a beat for the police. They walk up and down the little alleyway that we're on. And they walk that every day they used to go to their old police station. They moved it, so sometimes they still come down. They never fucked with us. And there'd be fucking clouds of smoke be rolling out of our fucking shop on a daily basis.
Man, that's dope. Like, big shout out the Dutch, police for that, because, a lot of other places you've been shut down. I mean, I can't think of many places that have been cool with that.
I mean, hey, our neighbors complain.
Yeah.
Our neighbors continue to complain. They're like, hey, your thing smells like weed. And I was like, nah, you know what? Fuck that. I was like, let us put in a fucking, exhaust fan with a filter that leads to the backyard. We'll put that on, let us break open these glass window blocks that they had. And like, let's put in the fucking system. And it took like a year and a half for us to do that, because like our shop was on the bottom. It was so moist. The groundwater is right there. So mold was starting from. We're like, we need airflow. We started saying mold.
You got all the seeds. You got to protect it.
No, we said mold.
Yeah.
And we need to kill this mold, and we need to put flowage. And they finally agreed, and we did that, and then we could smoke weed in our shop all day long because we had exhaust fan and can filter.
Big shout out can filters. I mean, since way back, been doing that, helping growers out and smokers mainly. Holy hell!
Hey, in Amsterdam, you'd see those fucking things on the street for the trash man to come pick up.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah, I've seen them out here too. Those things, heavy ass fucking can fans, bro. Everybody dreaded putting those things up.
Man. I mean, that's some OG stuff right there. Amsterdam days, like, so then, do you just immediately get accepted since you're the good guys? You're hanging out with Soma. You're hanging out with Ariane. You're hanging out with Yoa.
Yoa's with Ariane. You know, I'm hanging out with John from Gray Area.
Okay, big OG shop.
I mean, we sold weed to all those dudes. The Arianes, the Flying Dutchmans of the world, you know, this Dutch Passion, not the Dutch Passion, but the dairies, you know, Gray Area. I mean, those were our shops.
And you were still coming back to California in those days too, or no? Like to kick it, still see what's going on?
Later on, after like you could afford to leave and take a vacation, we were coming back.
And then when was the switch to like, let's move back to California? You guys crushed it with Crockett.
Right around 2012, I would say. I mean, we were here before that. You know, we had a grow that was going on here, and then you know we shut it down. And then we had another grow. I mean, it's love hate. You know, the standard practice of life. The Crockett relationship started. When we blasted off the Tangi, like we were coming out here I don't know if we were doing as DNA genetics, but a lot of people were still having our seeds out here. We had a grow. So, you know, we had seeds.
Yeah.
And we sell seeds to our friends and shit.
You and Crockett, though, when we came out, I mean, it was legend. Like, you guys hit the scene so hard together, and everyone was smoking some version of what you guys did together for years.
Crockett was great because it was DNA and Crockett, right? It was DNA by Crockett. It was everything that we did here in California under the Crockett brand, or DNA by Crockett under the Crockett brand. You know, I mean, it wasn't DNA genetics. So there was a difference between there and here, feminized and regular, you know, because everything Crockett did was 95% regular seeds. And DNA by Crockett was also regular seeds. You know, sometimes there could be some femmes, but it was the majority of regular seeds. You know, that all started when I think, you know, we started being out here more full time and not just coming out here and having a place. And yeah, we would go to the Cups together. Crockett and I.
He said he first met you. He was on a flight and met a famous guy writing a book, and that guy was coming to see you guys. And he said, I was listening to Crockett talk about this, and he was saying that then he was like, can I tag along? And he made the introduction to you guys.
Yeah, he was like, I met this guy Crockett who's got these old strains, Ranger and whatever, you know, and, you know, you should meet him. He's a really nice guy. And I didn't spend too much time with Crockett back then. You know, I said, hey, there was, you know, busy time, Cannabis Cup, you know, a lot of people were coming in and out of the door. You know, Dave Crockett, he's a very quiet dude if you don't know him. You know, he's still that quiet dude, and like I love that, him and his family, like they're like true family, you know.
How'd you know though that he'd be the one you'd work with out of all the different Mendo growers and connections you have? That
he was like, so there was a San Francisco Cup, and I was doing some stuff with Steep Hill, right? And this is before Crockett Family Farms. He's like, hey, I have something I wanna bring you. You know, I go, all right, I'm gonna be up in San Francisco. Let's link up. And he brings it to me, and I go, holy shit, this is 1995. You know? He goes, yeah, you can have the cut too. He's just like this, and I go, wow. I go, this is 1995. This takes me back. And so I send a little nug. I walk over to our, like the little table where we're selling some shirts and shit. And I handed it to my buddy Sergio, who was with us in 95. Like, I was a bicycle messenger in 1995 in downtown Los Angeles also. And I love riding a bicycle. I still do to this day. In 95, there was a strain called Tangerine Dream. That was out. It was not the Barney's Tangerine Dream. It was the Tangerine Dream. There was a cut that was going around. Orange, like super fire, like just like all the wow factor you need, right? And so Dave hands this over to me. I'm like, holy shit. Wow. You know? And then we started growing it, you know, and Dave was growing it, and I was gathering it up from Dave, and I had the resources to push it different places. And we started pushing it, you know, we started making concentrates from it. Started growing concentrates. And that's when, like, the wax was big. It started big. You know, and bro, that shit was the most loudest, stinkiest fucking shit on the market. Nobody could touch it, and it was killing everybody. It was just rushing. It was going all different people, and then like